name is Shirley Farrar, and this is Encouragement on Fire. So, we always have an underlining topic, and the topic for today is balancing ambition and well being. Now, we have briefly discussed this topic in the past, but this is one of those topics you have to keep returning to because why? We don't balance our lives. We always focus, then we go astray. We focus, then we go astray. That is why we have to have significant people in our inner circle to keep us focused, to keep us balanced, right? So, talking about balancing ambition and well being, how do we go about doing that? First of all, we have to set clear goals. Now, when I say setting clear goals, this could be in your career, but not only in your career. This could also be in other things that you want. So we may say, well, it's career. I want to be the CEO. I want to be the vice president. I want to be the director. I want to be this. I want to be that. Well, what about, I want to be a mom. I want to be a dad, right? Or I want to be, I want to have my own church. Or I want to, read all these books. Or I want to write books. Or I want to be the best author. Or, I want to be the best musician. And I want to do this and that. Whatever it is, ambition can get in the way because we have a focus in our mind on what we see ourselves. And guess what? That's okay. But remember, I always say, take everything to God in prayer. Don't get ahead of yourself. Some of you out there, you may say the universe, right? As a faith-based person, I believe that it's God that directs us and he guides us and he leads us. But some people may say, well, the universe is talking to you, right? The universe is God. And he's talking to us and he's telling us, slow down. You don't need to do all these things today. Doesn't mean you can't do them, just not today, okay? So there needs to be a balance of the ambition and there has to be some well-being in that. What does that look like? So I wanted to take you to the book of Habakkuk 2:2. And in this particular scripture, the man of God, he is, I would say, frustrated because he has, ambition. He has some things going on in his life. It's, not something that he wants to go on in his life. And he's in this pathway of like hard times and how do I make this work and what do I need to do? Well, throughout this entire book, Yahweh, God, is speaking to him and he's helping him. He's instructing him. And in Habakkuk 2:2, Yahweh is saying to him, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. So basically, he's getting instruction on if you want to do anything in life, you have to have a good plan. You have to make goals. And they have to be very clear. So if you're going to, let's just say, make a cake, there's certain ingredients that you have to have. There's no difference in doing something in your life. There has to be specific goals. If you're going back to school, there has to be specific goals. Money, right? What school? What topic? What help? Think about what I'm saying. What classes will you be taking? What will your schedule be? All of these things, how will you get there? All of these things are part of the plan, are part of the goals, so you can accomplish what you want. So we can be ambitious about what we want, but there must be balance. We must not try to do a 4-year degree in 1 year, right? Now, I've seen people do a 2-year degree in 1 year, but we have to make sure we're mindful. I've even seen a couple of my friends, they've done a doctorate in 3 years, 4 years, where normally it's 7 years, 8 years, right? 9 years. So when we think of that, we have to make sure that we define our ambition. What is it we want? What are the goals? And then they have to align with our value system. So some of you, even if it's career in a job, well, there's the balance of your family. There's the balance of how much money I'm going to spend yearly. There's the balance of what topics or topic I'm going to take in, or career path or major I'm going to take in school. Does it align with what I believe, my value system? All these things matter. And then there's another scripture that I want to give you. It's Jeremiah 29:11. And it says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give," I love that part, "you an expected end." So God is saying to us, He's saying, I have something for you, right? I have something for you. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. I'm going to give it to you because I already know in the end you succeed, you win. Isn't that wonderful that we get that from God, that He gives that to us? He gives us a blessing. What is your blessing today? What is it that God wants to give you today? Do you know? Have you been in prayer about it? And do you know what it is? I know what mine is. So let's keep going. All right. So number 2 of balancing ambition and our well-being. Prioritize self-care. Yeah. We know this is important. We have to establish clear boundaries. Boundaries at your job, right? Boundaries at your home. Because a lot of times we think of just at work. But what about at home? You have to take care of yourself. That's something as a mom, I had to learn how to take care of myself. Because as moms or dads, we tend to give everything away. We want to make sure that everyone is okay, right? We want to make sure our children are off to school and they're well, they're dressed nicely, they have their lunches, right? We pick them up on time. We want to do all these wonderful things with our children. Make sure if they're sick, we take care of them, right? But we're always running. It's like a rat race. We're running all the time, making sure that everyone else is happy. Hubby's happy. Wife is happy. Everybody's happy. Everyone needs something from you. But what about you? Have you taken the time to think about your self-care? What is it that you need? That's a good question. And I want you to answer that today. So the next thing under prioritizing your self-care is incorporate well-being practices. Have you thought about what those well-being practices would be in your life? If you have not, you need to think about that today. What are the well-being practices that you need to do? Is it mindfulness, right? Do you need to go somewhere and sit quietly, read a book, get away from everyone else? Maybe get the children in bed at a certain hour so you have time to just wind down. What is your time away? What does your self-care look like? We're gonna, number 3, talk about practicing time management. But right now, we're getting ready to go to encouragement. All right, everybody, this is Encouragement, and we are talking about some things that we can do in order to set clear goals for ourselves, as well as prioritize self-care. So if we set clear goals for ourselves, the first thing we can do is at nighttime, we can write out what our next day is going to look like. The next thing we can do is the next day actually use our planner. How many of you have actually written out some things you were going to do and you forgot it at home? So we're going to plan out by using the planner the next day. The next thing is have time on your calendar for those extra things. Sometimes We find out throughout the day, we're walking in the market and all of a sudden here's a person that you haven't seen in a long time. Well, guess what? You don't want to just brush them off. You want to take some time and speak to them. So make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself in that day, meaning you don't overload. So if you have some things on your schedule, have about 5 things. Don't have 10 and 20 because there's no time for you to be lovable to other people. You have to make sure that you are spending your life enjoying your life. The next thing is, what is the goal for that day? Have you even thought about that? What's the goal for that day, right? What is the goal for that week? What is the goal for the month? Now, if we prioritize our self-care, what does that look like? Well, how do you identify self-care? We said that earlier. You have to write down what that looks like for you. No one can decide that but you. Is that getting a massage? Is that taking time and reading a book? Is that self-care, getting your hair done or your makeup done or doing something, getting your nails done or something like that? What does your self-care look like? And, when you do something special, when you do something out of the ordinary, come on, you've had those days that I accomplished everything on my goals. I went above and beyond. How do you treat yourself? There's always something you can do. All of us are always on a schedule. We're always on dieting, or we're coming off a diet or whatever, and we're treating ourselves. Make sure when you're treating yourself, it's for a good reason. It's not just because I'm doing it. No, I'm doing it because I accomplished my goals for this week. I did what I said I was going to do. Isn't that how we treat our children? We don't just give them things just to be giving it to them. We give it to them because, they cleaned up their rooms. They did things that they were supposed to all week long, right? And the blessing is that they get to live in the home that they live in. So that's one of the things that they achieved also. But think about that. How do you treat yourself? The other one is, what is your budget? In order to treat yourself, in order to do self-care, you have to have a budget. So I want you to take time to look at what is your budget so you will stay in your financial budget. Okay? All right, this has been Encouragement Minute. We're going back to talking about balancing ambition and well-being. All right, welcome back, everyone. So we are talking about ambition, balancing ambition and well-being. And number 3 is we have to practice time management. This is a big one because everyone that I talk to, whenever I'm talking to students or I'm talking to individuals, they always say, one of my skill sets is time management. Everybody says that. But is it? Let's be honest, is it? Do you get all of your goals done in a day? And I want you to really be honest. When you write down on the paper everything you need to get done, or maybe some of you aren't even writing it down, so you're not getting it done at all. But taking the time to do that, making sure that you're checking the boxes and don't overload. Don't have 20, 30 things on your list. It's impossible to do. Still be lovable, right? Show yourself friendly, being kind to other people. Do you find it that you're not very kind when you're like, oh, well, that's nice, I gotta get going? That's not very kind. Taking the time to hear someone out. Sometimes people, they have some things that they need to talk about, and you're the only person that crossed their path. Taking the time to do that. Now, I'm not saying every second of the day you're going to do that, but you understand what I'm saying. Taking that moment. Somebody may need you today. Someone may need you tomorrow. Are you going to be that person, or are you going to be so quick with your time or so limited with your time that you don't have time? So one of the things in practicing time management, remember we talked about using those productivity tools. You can use software, You can use apps, different things that will help you to accomplish what you need done. I'll give you an example. Sometimes your day gets away from you and you were going to go grocery shopping, but it's going to be a long night because it's just not happening. Well, use your app. Order your groceries. Get in the car, either pick them up at the grocery store or have them delivered to your home. And they'll literally meet you at your door. So think about things like that can inexpensively help you out in your time management. Another thing is prioritize your tasks. Making sure that whatever is the most important, you put first. So just in case you can't get to number 5 or number 6 on the list, you can always put that to the next day. Okay? And you're getting done the things that are important. I'll give you an example. If you have on your list, pay the mortgage, transfer the money, let's say, book a flight for tomorrow. There's some things that are priority. First of all, is the mortgage due today or tomorrow? If the mortgage is due today or tomorrow, today you have to put that at the top of the list. But if it's not, you can put that at the bottom of the list, right? Because you still have time. Now, if you have to book a flight for tomorrow, that probably will be at the top of the list. However, if you had to transfer money, why are you transferring money? If the money was needed to pay for the flight, think about what I'm saying. That's a priority over the other. So make sure you're listing them in priority. Because I'm telling you, it has happened to me, and I put the things in the wrong order. And of course, it was chaotic. So I learned, make sure you're doing it the way it should be. Prioritize. Okay? All right. So how do you practice time management? Well, you need to make sure that you're identifying your daily, your weekly, and your month goals. Making sure that you put enough time in your schedule and you're using your apps, you're using your planner, you're using all the things you need, even if it's a pad and a pencil, if it's your phone and you're typing and you're sending yourself a note, whatever you can do to make it work for you. And then you have to be realistic. How are you going to accomplish these things in the amount of time? If you have 24 hours in a day and you have 50 things on your list, half or a third or 2/3 of those items are not getting done. Be realistic. Sometimes we have days that we do a lot, but that's not every day. So take it from someone who became exhausted at too many things in one day. And now my schedule, I have literally probably taken my schedule and made it a third of what I used to do. And you know what? I'm happier. I'm more relaxed. I'm more focused. Like, one of the things I love doing is the Encouragement on Fire, to encourage you, encourage myself, encourage my family and my friends. And I'm doing things that I love. So I ask you today, what is it that you need to do? I know you're ambitious, but I want you to be balanced in your ambition and your well-being. Okay? Well, I'm Shirley Farrar, and this has been Encouragement on Fire. Have a good day.